Fiatua risasi, wanamurika, wanaacha wamekota kila kitu. Kuna pali walikuwa wanaacha evidence na serikali na watu wa serikali. Juu wote walikuwa hapo, wenye wako na uniform na wenye hawana uniform. Na walikuwa wamevaa paka mask. Paka kuna mwingine tuligombana akanipiga kofi. Ati mimi ni mama kisirani sana na wazuia wafanye kazi yao.
Mtu akipewa second chance huwa anajaribu na anarekebisha. Tunamuomba tu amsamehe na wasimfanye vibaya. Wamuweke tu.
You know, this kind of things, so whoever is orchestrating them, where the police are abducting people, is what is charging the country negatively towards the administration. You cannot beat people to a pulp to love them. You cannot force nobody to love you. And it is actions like this that are causing people to become agitated and, you know, just wait for the smallest thing to spark into fire. And that's very unfortunate, and I don't know who's advising the police to do this. Now, 2 protesters killed during the June 25th demonstration in Emali, Makueni County died from gunshot wounds, according to post-mortem results. Garcia Motisi Luko, 23, was shot in the chest with bullets exiting through their backs. The findings released have deepened the pain of their families, who are now demanding justice. The grief is not limited to Makueni. In Nairobi's Pipeline Estate, the family of a 21-year-old Abdi Juma Okelo is also in mourning. Abdi was allegedly shot in the head near the Pipeline footbridge during the protest at 2 p.m. on Wednesday.
Na tumeridhika na vile imefanywa. Tukuwa na huzuni kubwa kama familia. Zitahakikisha kwamba haki imetendeka. Na damu ya mtoto wetu haitapotea bure. Kile kingine, tuko na majukumu mengi ya kuhakikisha kwamba Gershon Motesia amepumzishwa vizuri. Tuko na bills kubwa za hapa mochari, na tunaomba serikali ya ngazi za juu ya kitaifa na serikali ya county. Huyu alikuwa kijana peke yake wa mama, na tunaomba msaada ili tukasaidiwe kumpumzisha vizuri, tukasaidiwe kumpumzisha kwa njia inayostahili. Tunapozidi kuomba pia serikali ya kitaifa na hii ya county watusaidie kuhakikisha kwamba uchunguzi umefanyika bila kufunika na bila kufanya changa yoyote, ili tupate haki ya mtoto wetu.
I'm also requesting the government for the process of the burial and the cost of the burial and the expense, because my brother, we are deceased. My mother passed away when we are still young, so we have been my uncle is the one who has been taking care of us since we are kids. So I'm also requesting if there is any person who is willing to support us for the burial process, as we are still waiting for the justice of my brother, so I can just chip in and assist us, and God will bless you. I am brother to Peter Makau Maluko, who was shot during the demonstration on 25th. So today we came here for the post-mortem process, and now we have got the results. And now it is clear that my brother was shot dead by the police. So we are requesting the government for further investigation, and also we also demand for the justice for my brother.
Very, very weird stories, right? Very, very weird. Now, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has responded to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, faulting them for ethnic profiling targeting the Mount Kenya nation following the June 25th demonstration. Gachagua, whose name has been linked with allegations of sponsoring goons to disrupt peaceful protests, demanded that the DCI record statements of other leaders who've made remarks which he termed insightful. Gachagua further went on to accuse President William Ruto and Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja of initiating plans to disrupt and vandalize businesses owned by the Agikuyu community.
Nimeona DCI akiongea pale. Mbunge wa Kikuyu alienda bunge, akaongea akasema anajua ni nani alikuwa anaenda kuua baba yake na mama yake. Mtu anataka kuua baba yako na mama yako, si unaenda police station? Huendi kuongea bunge? Ameandika statement ya huyo. Has it been reported in any OB book? Hao wabunge wote waliongea for 2 hours. Wakasema wanajua vile hii mambo ilipangwa. Have you recorded their statements? Huyu Murkomen alisema ati watu wale walikuja kuchoma Nairobi walitoka Murang'a, walitoka Kirinyaga, ani Nyeri. Kwani watu wetu wako na alama kwa uso ati yakiwaona najua ni watu ya Nyandarua, ati ni watu ya Murang'a? Why haven't you recorded a statement from Murkomen to explain how did he know that these people are from Murang'a, from Kirinyaga, and from Nyeri? Number 3, anaenda naokota vitambulisho 30. Hata watu wakienda kuiba, kuna mtu anaweza wacha kitambulisho yake? Tena vitambulisho 30 na yote ni mpya. Na yote ni watoto wetu ya hapa mlima. Hii maneno imetokea Wednesday. It was a scheme by Kasongo and our traitors here in Nyandarua and in the mountain. In Nairobi, the county government of Nairobi walienda nyumba za Wakikuyu na Waembu na Wameru zote wakaweka X ya green. Usiku wakora wakaletwa wakisimamiwa na polisi, wakapora mali yetu ya watu wetu. Hapa Nyandarua hii mambo ilikuwa olokalau. Wakora waliletwa na huyu Mami Mwaganu. Na mjumbe hapa huyu anaitwa Kwenya.
This kind of talks get me a little bit concerned. Give me the heebie-jeebies because when people start talking like this, for me, who lived through the 2007 post-election period and even before the electioneering period during that time, it gives you a kind of a deja vu feeling. You kind of feel like, I've been here before, by the way. I've been here before. And it's not a good feeling. Now, all 19 suspects linked to the chaos witnessed during the Gen Z demonstration in Ol Kalou town, Nyandarua County, have been released on a personal bond of 100,000 shillings, while giving the ruling principal magistrate judicator Nduku said that there is no sufficient evidence to hold the suspect for 21 days, as had been requested by the prosecution. In a sworn affidavit, investigating officer Richard Limo told the court that he needed more time to record witness statements, while Corporal Richard Limo told the court that he needed more time to get them, adding that if released, the suspects were likely to interfere with the investigations.
Article 49 offers me 3 options. I will exercise the option of releasing the suspects, that is suspect number 1 to 16, then 18 and 19, on a personal bond of 100,000 Kenya shillings each, plus 2 sureties, who can be contacted anytime, and the sureties shall undertake to produce the suspects as at when required.
The decision by this court today has national implications. The court has been very clear that the police should first of all investigate, gather evidence, prepare a charge sheet before arresting anybody and taking that person in court. This habit of the police arresting a person, then going to court to seek permission to hold that person as they investigate, has been declared unlawful by the court today. This ruling today should actually be circulated to all the police stations and all the police officers.
Is expected of a court of law. Application of the law, application of facts and conclusions that speak to the situation that we had today. All the 19 people will be released today. We have sought an order that they be retained at at the court cells for a few hours before the
Now, human rights groups in Mombasa have decried the rising incidents of intimidation, harassment, and profiling of human rights defenders in the country. Speaking during a press briefing at Muhuri's Legal Aid Clinic in Mombasa, the rights group raised alarm over what it described as a systematic crackdown on individuals advocating for constitutional rights in various counties, including Mombasa, Nairobi, Nyandarua, and Kisumu. He dismissed claims that the recent youth-led protests were sponsored by foreign or political actors, describing such allegations as attempts to delegitimize lawful civic action. The activists urged law enforcement agencies to redirect their focus towards individuals allegedly sponsoring political violence rather than targeting activists.
More power to the youth, more power. More power. Ukiangalia katiba kipengee cha 244 kinawahimiza polisi wakati wanapofanya shughuli zao za kushika watu wazingatie masuala ya kikatiba, wazingatie haki za kibinadamu. Lakini ukiangalia tetesi ambazo zilizoko, mmoja wetu alipokuwa abducted na kutekwa nyara wiki iliyopita, aliweza kudhulumiwa, aliweza kuteswa kisaikolojia, jambo ambalo ni kinyume na haki za kibinadamu.
Tumepata teteshi wanasema kuwa maandamano zote zinakuwa funded by who? Kama wanajua wa arrest wale watu ambao wanafund maandamano. Hii ni propaganda, hii ni kuleta watu waogope, vijana waogope. Kwa hivyo ni script ambayo inatumika Kenya nzima ili ionekane, itie sumu kuwa tunakuwa funded. Hakuna mtu anafund hizi maandamano. Vijana wanajitoa wenyewe volunteering kwa sababu inchi imeporomoka, inchi wanakufa vijana.
Last week tuliona posters ambazo zilikuwa zinaenea mitandaoni kuwa wanaharakati na mawakili wanasponsor maguns, na hii ni njia moja ambayo serikali inatumia kunyamazisha wanaharakati, kunyamazisha mawakili. Ni state profiling, na tunasema kuwa sisi kama mawakili ama wanaharakati tutahakikisha kuwa vijana wanatimiza ile haki yao ya kwa.
You know, there's a gentleman, I was hoping not to see him, and I didn't see him in that Muhuri presser. He's one of the most outspoken Muhuri activists, an old man, I know him. I was hoping I was not going to see him. It's good I didn't see him, because the last time he spoke, he was actually speaking the very same thing that some parliamentarians are speaking right now, castigating one community in that area and telling people that they should kick them out of that place. And I wondered, but anyway. 304 members of parliament passed a constitutional amendment aimed at entrenching 3 key development funds: the National Government Constituencies Development Fund, or NGCDF, the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, or GAF, and the Senate Oversight Fund into the country's supreme law. The proposed law seeks to shield the 3 funds from recurring legal challenges by entrenching them in the Constitution. The funds have in recent years faced petitions questioning their legality, with courts at times declaring them unconstitutional. The bill now awaits a 3rd reading and subsequent assenting into law by President William Ruto.
Of voters, 304. Present and voting, 301. Voting virtually, 3. So total votes 304, the ayes 304, nays nil, abstentions nil. So the ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Constitution of Kenya. Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose the question that the title be part of the bill. I now put the question that the title be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I now propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Well, I'm not surprised that they've passed that. It's a double-edged sword in the sense that there's a part of it that works for the people, the constituencies. At least I've seen a lot of development coming to the constituencies because of the NGCDF. It has really worked on the ground. On the other side, it is a devolve, what majority of members of parliament do on the constituency level is supposed to be done by the county government. So the funds should go to the county government to be managed by the governor. But at the same time, unfortunately, we've seen a lot of mismanagement coming from the governor's end. So it's just one of those things, you know. Anyway, Kenya and the United Kingdom have renewed their strategic partnership, settling the momentum for more bilateral trade and investment. The pact, which succeeds the 2020-2025 framework, is also expected to deliver growth in information and communication technology. It will also cement the two countries' joint responses to global and regional peace and security. This follows a meeting between President William Ruto and Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Keir Starmer, at the 10 Downing Street in London. President William Ruto said that the partnership will double the Kenya-UK trade volume in the next 5 years. The partnership, he added, will also expand and accelerate funding for green growth and support startup in the digital space.
So on this, I think this is a wonderful moment for our two countries.
So do I. I think it allows us to go even further and shows the ambition that we have.
By the way, my thinking about the whole green business is very controversial in the sense that the West, and I think we need to take care of our environment, most definitely. We need to do that at all cost. But the individuals that are pushing the green campaign are probably not pushing it for the right cause. Hear me out. The Western powers, which have already industrialized, are pushing the mostly African countries and some of the Asian countries not to seek industrialization, in quotes, because it's going to damage the environment. But I look at it differently. They're already doing that. They've already developed the economies. Like now, take for instance, countries like Kenya and other countries that are discovering oil are being discouraged from going the oil way, because if they go the oil way, they're going to destroy the environment, right? Western powers went the oil way. They developed their countries. They did so many things. They're so developed. They are stopping us from going the same direction they went. We have learned from them. We have learned not to destroy our environment. They keep on saying that they're going to pay for carbon. You know, there's something called carbon credits for countries that increase their forest cover, which is great. So what they're saying, and every time they say that, they pledge budgets, but they don't give the money. So they tell you, don't go oil. Increase the forest cover to protect the environment. And we do that. They don't pay sufficiently for the carbon credits. And it looks as though Africa is begging the West to pay what they are supposed to pay for not utilizing the resources in their lands. Kenya has oil. Uganda has oil. And you can imagine if we start producing oil, what is going to happen in the country? As in, we're going to get to a place whereby we are churning, we're able to sell, we're able to take care of our economies, and we stop relying on donations from the West. What President William Ruto has gone to do out there is to increase trade between these countries, but at the same time, look for money. We have resources these guys are looking for. When it comes to tea, we produce tea. We export it raw, they process it, they package it, and then they return it to our country processed, and they sell it to us as English tea at a higher price. Same thing with coffee. Same thing with so many things that we do here. The reason why I like Burkina Faso and also Ghana, the direction Ghana is taken, is in Burkina Faso, the country refused to export anything raw to France or to the European nations. If you want our stuff, you got to get it processed. They used to take raw gold and go and melt it in their countries and then retain it. That's France, one of the most wicked European nations in the world, because it has made Francophone countries poor by its policies. France is a third world nation without the Francophone nation. And so they rape the Francophone countries of their resources. And I think the time has come. I've seen Ghana go that direction. They also told the Westerners, you'll not come to our country and buy gold from the villager. You'll have to buy it from the board, and you buy it at market value. And when that happened, now the Ghanaian currency, which was on the verge of collapse, has become one of the strongest growing currencies in the world today. We need to our leaders need to take cue and stop exporting our stuff raw. Let's stop exporting our stuff raw. We have tea, we have coffee, we have other things. We even Flospa. We have companies that have come into the country. There's a company that has been set up in Kakamega that was actually kicked out of Tanzania by Magufuli because it was hiving off soil and exporting it to its country. They're saying they're exporting oil, but when the tests were done, they were actually exporting Tanzanite covered by soil. And that company is coming to Kakamega to start harvesting gold. You see, the gold mines in Kakamega County are estimated at almost 1 trillion Kenya shillings. Meaning if we start harvesting the gold and do what other countries do, this gold can actually increase and strengthen the economy of this country. Migori has gold. So why are we bringing other companies into our countries that are being kicked out of other countries for misusing their resources, and we bring them into our country? Get my drift? Right now, if you don't come from Kakamega, I don't come from Kakamega, but I'm well informed. Right now in certain regions in Western Kenya, people are being told to sell off their lands so that these companies can be able to prosper for gold. And quite a number of people, because of poverty, imagine this, you're poor, but you're on a plot of land under the earth. There's enough gold to take care of your family for 100 generations to come. But these lands will be sold so cheaply to this company so that people can be able to. Members of parliament from that region are currently hashed out. All right, I've said my bit. Let's go for a short break. When we come back, we take a look at what's happening in the newspapers. The headlines scream out, go zones in the new anti-demos bill. Is this bill going to be brought for public participation? I can assure you, if it is, some of these things will be kicked out. Strengthening Kenya-UK ties. And then you remember the law that was passed yesterday by the Supreme Court that basically tells the Muslims that they have to, if a person sires children out of wedlock, when he dies, those kids have to be taken care of, have to become party to the inheritance. In the past, people would sire children out of wedlock, and then those children are completely left out. But this time, the courts have ruled in the interests of the children. You sire them, you take care of them, even after you're dead. So Muslims have differed over the ruling on inheritance. According to Islamic law, child born out of wedlock can only inherit from the mom. State House, Bunge, no-go zones in new anti-protest proposals. So that law is there. It's been debated in Parliament. Then MPs unanimously vote to anchor CDF in law despite opposition. And Kalonzo regard the Axis move to expand political base. And then ODM legislators take on Gachagua over ethnic profiling of Luo leaders. Community targeted by bloggers associated with XDP. Have they taken a look at, there's a guy called Gordon Opio. Gordon Opio is so lethal. Spreading what you can call anti-Mount Kenya, basically, it's full of hate. You read those and his campaign is sad. Haiti mission far from over as violence escalate. From successful, okay, police officer charged with colleague's murder and denied bail. And then 2 cops to no verdict over fatal torture in cells. This is in Kakamega County. The back page of the Star, NOC crisis deepens. Why are people fighting for this? It's just because there's money. Just tell them to serve voluntarily, without pay, without allowance. And then we'll see the people who love the country, people who will volunteer to serve. Then The Nation, Ruto's draconian bill on protests. And the Nation, that's the headline on The Nation, Ruto's draconian bill on protests. Then it says, stung by a wave of youth-led anti-government protests, President William Ruto's administration has lined up a new bill that seeks to demarcate areas for holding demos while stipulating fines and jail terms for anyone found in non-designated locations such as Parliament, police stations, courts, and other protected areas. Just bits of it. is shillings 100,000 fine if found guilty of participating in demonstration in non-designated areas. 3 months jail term if found guilty of participating if you're in areas that are demarcated. 100 meters, demonstrators will not be allowed to picket in areas with a radius of 100 meters from the precincts of Parliament, protected areas, and a building in which courtroom is situated. All right. No, thank you. Over 42,000 students shun varsity placement. Wow. And then the second page, judge tells DCI to end drama and produce Ndiangui. And then wait for your tumor to grow or pay cash. SHA impossible choice. What in the world are they talking about? When Millicent Akinyi was wheeled into Naivasha Sub-County Referral Hospital for surgery to remove a tumor, her employer had every reason to expect a smooth process. After all, she had paid her full annual Social Security Authority, Social Health Authority SHA premium, believing it would cover the medical, but sometimes the system had other plans. Akinyi, who works as a house help, had been diagnosed with hypochondriac lipoma, a benign tumor made of fat cells. She was booked for surgery at the hospital and her employer had completed all necessary preparations, but she was told, ngojea tumor grow, ndio ukujie operation. Vane. Where are the bullets? Kin of loved ones killed during protests ask. Unease as House team scrutinized draconian bill. You know, the thing is, it's going to pass. Bills have been passing in the House even when they're unpopular. Not all medical interns will earn 206,000 shillings salary. And then that's what CS Health Duale Aiden has said. And then on the 7th page, you have over 42,000 KCSE qualifiers didn't apply for varsity positions. Question should be asked, why? They qualified, but they did not apply. Some of them have given up hope because of the new funding model, because their parents cannot afford. The back page of the Nation, New Leopards boss Ambani eats, drinks, sleeps football. Let's hope he can bring a sweet wave of change at the Leopards. The Standard newspaper, and the headline, blood money. And this is what it says. It says, it's become routine, almost a ritual. The state pulls the trigger, kills somebody, then shows up with the flowers and a fat check. No justice, no accountability, just blood on the pavement and a press release to clean it up. You're being gunned down in broad daylight. The government responses, waived hospital bills, token donations, revealing lack of respect for human life. Boniface Mwangi Kariuki was shot at point-blank range in the head during a protest against police brutality. He died 12 days later in ICU. Government says it will waive his hospital bill. Albert Ojwang died in police custody, and before suspects were even charged, the government delivered a 3 million shilling condolence package, built his parents a house, and promised his widow a job. You know, if these are the perks, then some weird families are going to start wishing that one of their family member is shot so that they can benefit from this. I mean, 3 million shillings, and then you're done for a house, and then your widow is given a job. Wow. There are people who are going to start wishing they're shot during demonstrations to get these sparks. Fate of NGCDF billions in the hands of Senate after MPs approve bill. And you know, they also had to approve a fund for the Senate so that the Senate will pass it. It will pass. Then the bank has been ordered to refund Koinange's family 284 million shillings. Governor seek 2 weeks to spend 40 billion. Hey, Vane. Hey. The Council of Governors has called for a national government and the Office of Control Budget to extend the closure of the Integrated Financial Management Information System, IFMIS, by 2 weeks to facilitate the absorption of 40 billion equitable share. Blood money, Kenya's deadly dance of death and compensation. Judge summons Amin over missing blogger. Pressure mounts on Ruto to sack security chiefs as Saba nears. Government of spin doctors as officers slash on state positions. Hey. Top court stops 93 million awarded against KWS over Malindi Hotel. Fees reprieve as 650 Shan. Varsity and colleges. That is something that should concern everybody. 650,000 people, despite qualifying, did not apply to go to college, neither did they apply to go to the university. You know, the education of a country determines the future of the people. If the people are educated well, then what happens is that the future of the country is in good hands. If the country is illiterate, then they can be taken advantage of, as we have in the past. Now, when you have 650,000 students who qualify to go to universities and colleges, not even applying, that should tell you something. That should tell you something. And it's not a good story, because it's either to do with fees, or they have given up hope because they've seen other people going to campus, finishing, getting degrees and not getting jobs. So they wonder why in the world, why go there in the first place? So that's something that should concern everybody. The back page of the Standard, Ingahi hails his team show as they leave Man City on their knees. And it's a club, Warabia Uko, Al Hilal, shock Manchester City in Club World Cup in 16 tie. Guardiola says his team was so open and were easily hit on counter attacks. Aye. All right, with that, we got to bring down the curtains on the show. Do have yourself a lovely morning. And remember, you've been given your mouth to speak life into things. And you've been given your mind to create situations for yourself. So you create with your mind and then you speak it with your mouth. Don't create negativity and then speak negativity into your environment. You'll mess it up. Speak life. That's what you've been called to do. Speak life. For out of your mouth, life and death, the power of the tongue. So you got to speak life in your life. Sindio? Okay. Have yourself a lovely morning.